Hi, Scorpio, or anyone watching for Scorpio. This is your December love and general reading. Anything else you need to know is in the description box. So, starting off your reading with Justice in the reverse for the month, bottom of the deck, the Chariot. All right, Scorpio, this is kind of weighing heavy on your mind. It feels to me as though there's an element of deception here. I think that somebody in your life, is what this is looking like, has almost made it seem like they were going to offer you something, but you're coming to the realization that it's a possibility that thing may not come. It feels like this person had some kind of ulterior motive, but it's around being very, very selfish. Okay, so I'm going to let you know, whoever this is, whether this is love or some kind of work situation, they saw everything that you were, everything that you bring to the table. They wanted very badly to participate in that, or they like how you work, how you show up, how you make this person feel. And there's kind of this energy of this person manipulating the situation for their own gain, right? I feel like this is something that's reoccurring. So if you have not been in a situation with this particular energy that I'm describing, it could be that you oftentimes have relationships, friendships, or job situations that are like this, where it feels like initially you're being really celebrated. People want to be a part of your life, but then you realize after a while that they're not who they appear to be, or that they only wanted what you could offer them. And then it sucks because I feel like if you try to assert yourself in any way, it's almost like you get blamed for having boundaries, or you get blamed for calling people out on their stuff. Like, well, you helped me, so why are you mad? Or I didn't ask you to do this particular thing. You offered, so why are you upset? Right? And I guess what I'll say about that, guys, is like, for a lot of people who are like givers, they just naturally give. There's kind of that expectation that other people will follow suit if they're taking, right? That now it's like that energetic balance of, okay, now it's my turn to give because I just received. But it feels like there's a real issue around that with something in your life. And this is something that you deal with a lot, whether it's been like through your family of origin and then it carried over as you got older, or this is something that you've experienced through work or whatever. It just feels like people initially really like what you do for them, but then it like becomes the expectation regardless of how they show up. And I think that's very frustrating to you. For some of you, you've actually really put your life on hold for people, whether it was like, obviously, if you're a parent, you're going to put your needs maybe on the back burner for your kids, but the person you co-parent with could have come to the point in their life where that's just the expectation, and so they don't ever really show up, or they don't feel like you should have any kind of desire for reciprocity, right? They kind of make you assume this role where it's like, if you do something once or twice, suddenly that's just who you are. And if you complain, that's, you're being kind of a pain, or what's your problem? And I feel like for you this month, that's becoming a lot, because there's a lot of things that I feel like perhaps you're not speaking out on, or you've just kind of allowed to have happen because you assumed the position, right? Whatever the role was. Maybe you got into a habit of telling yourself, like, well, I did it once, or I always show up for this person, or I'm the only reliable person in this situation. So yeah, I guess it makes sense that I have all of the responsibility. But this month, you're taking a look at that and you're feeling like something needs to change in your life, that this just really is not fair, and it's actually impeding upon your happiness here. It could be that you're reevaluating a relationship that you're in, if you have a significant other, or if you're just on and off with somebody, and you're kind of realizing that, like, for all the time you've shown up and everything you've done, you've been alone, right? Or you're feeling very alone. But then this person has a way of, when they need you, you stop what you're doing, maybe you listen or provide support. And then when you're having some kind of problem, it feels like that doesn't happen for you. So there's an energy here of feeling very, very frustrated, right? Reassessing connections, reassessing situations, probably because it's the end of the year and maybe you're looking at where you thought you'd be by now. If you were a child who like had a lot of goals and thought, oh, I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be doing that, you're starting to kind of realize that you're not hitting some of those places that you thought you'd be at. And when you're taking stock of the why, a lot of it has to do with other people around you. And I get it. That's a really hard situation because for some of you, these are like people who you have really strong soul ties to or their family members. But I guess what I would say about that is like, rather than getting very, very depressed and being down on yourself, perhaps look at how your life would shift if you made yourself a priority, because when you get into the habit of always being what other people need, you neglect to show up for yourself, right? Because you're kind of hoping that those people will reciprocate and it'll be even. But oftentimes that's not how that happens. When we teach people that we're always going to be there regardless, they take advantage of that. And it's really unfortunate, but more often than not, that is the case. So I feel like for you, you're starting to think about what you want for yourself. That's really, really good. For some of you, you are having a situation where something isn't exactly going in your favor. And so you feel a little bit disappointed about it. But you're being called to take a second look because you actually did win whatever this was, even if you feel like you didn't. So maybe a win here looks like something different than what you anticipated. For some of you, you're putting your foot down, you're setting that boundary, and when you're being met with disapproval or ambivalence, and so you could be feeling like, man, nothing ever changes. But actually, that is the first step in change, what I'm seeing here, because however people are reacting to you after you express what you need or where you're at, that shows you what to do next. And actually, that is your win. And I know that sounds weird because you would want someone to like do more. Oh no, Scorpio, I'm so sorry that you feel that way. Let me make it up to you. But it feels like perhaps people are not doing that, right? And that's because people have become so complacent or they're so comfortable with you just being everything that people need. They're not really taking you serious, right? So if anything, I suppose, as you're asserting these boundaries and you're feeling like things are unfair and there's some disappointment and probably some desire for people to start showing up and really valuing you, instead, you could look at that and just say, like, I don't need to keep addressing this situation. I said what I had to say. People aren't taking it serious. Now it's time for me to move different. Because when I'm looking at what's happening for you or why this is happening, it's actually because there's a blessing that's coming in for you. But I feel like what you're not realizing is you're thinking that it's going to come from some of these people that you've given so much to, when in reality, these people are all getting taken away, or these situations are getting taken out of your life because they're not supposed to prosper with you. They're supposed to watch you prosper, being that you've been like the underdog or you've always been really mistreated. They're not supposed to have a seat at your table, right? So everything that you feel like is owed to you, it's actually coming. If it hasn't already started to come, you might be noticing with this King of Cups in the reverse that people are actually envious of good things that are happening to you. And I feel like for you, that would be very surprising because it's like, wow, you know what? I show up for everybody. I'm such a good person. And I've been getting the short end of the stick for so long. Why are people treating me badly now that things are finally going in my favor? Right? Well, might be time to start loving some people from a distance, because I feel like a lot of the masks are going to be falling away this month, right? Maybe you're accomplishing a big goal, or maybe you're having like a stroke of really good luck, and people are going to be showing their true selves. You're going to start seeing in what ways people weren't genuine, or how people suddenly show up or have more interest in your life because perhaps this Wheel of Fortune, 9 of Cups energy has become activated and you have more to share, more to give, right? Holidays are coming. Hey, Scorpio, I haven't talked to you in forever. How are you? Let's catch up, because Scorpio gives the best gifts, right? So this is interesting to me because it's almost like the universe is responding to your realization that things are unfair. But before anything can happen, or as things are starting to happen, you're going to notice that you're experiencing some truths about people that perhaps you always kind of thought, but you didn't want to allow yourself to internalize, because it's like, oh no, that's my mom. She would never be jealous of me being in a good relationship. Okay, well, now you don't have as much time to spend with her, so here she is being rude or condescending about your happiness, right? You're going to be seeing a lot more of a situation than I feel like you've been able to see for a long time. And this is actually setting you up for success, for the simple fact that you've put so much energy into a lot of empty situations, whether it was a career that never really took off, or relationships where you just felt like you were used or manipulated. For some of you, you have some narcissists in your midst, right? And so maybe you're giving up on a narcissist and you're feeling like, man, I've invested so much and I just have to lose now because I can't keep putting myself through this. But in all honesty, that's because something really good is about to happen to you. And why should a narcissist be rewarded for gaslighting you for 10 years, right? So just try to hold on. I know it's frustrating, but your advice is the Nine of Cups. And with Wheel of Fortune and the High Priestess, there's things that you haven't even seen yet that are going to be materializing for you very soon. And so your advice is to put your own happiness first. Try not to let people detract, okay? If anybody is detracting from the happiness you feel because you're finally being blessed, it's time to separate yourself from this person or this situation, because with the Six of Swords in reverse being your why for all this is stopping you from being able to move forward, right? When you're like surrounded by a bunch of haters or a bunch of people that are trying to get you to reassume a position that, I mean, it benefits them very nicely, right? They don't have to show up. Scorpio is doing everything. Just be mindful of that, right? With your advice. It's okay to be a little bit selfish because you've been dealing with some very, very selfish people, right? All right, let's take a look at your love messages. It looks like, okay, you might be feeling a little bit sad because a relationship has not worked out the way that you want. I am seeing a little bit of bitterness here. And this person could have been a twin, could have been a soulmate. But I feel like they were showing up more like a karmic, right? This person, it looks like, could be trying to start something else. And so there's some frustration around that because it feels like you are owed so much. And instead of them giving it to you, they're actually giving it to someone else. The reason why they're doing this is to try to get under your skin. And I think that's because you set a boundary with this person. So they're actually trying to inspire you to come back, right? There's the energy of you kind of drawing a line in the sand, saying like, hey, either we're going to be together or you're going to give me a commitment or you're going to be fair and show up, or maybe you're going to stop talking to your ex. It looks like there could have been some sort of ultimatum that you gave this person, or at least you just said, I'm not going to keep doing this anymore, right? And instead of this person making it up to you, in all honesty, it looks like they're going off and they're doing something else. And it's manipulation, right? King of Cups in the reverse. This person doesn't like that you're not giving in to them anymore. They're kind of punishing you, and I don't like that. I feel like the less you pay attention to this person, the more they act out, and that's something you're going to be noticing this month. And it really is to try to get you back where you've been, right? Get you back pining over them or asking like, hey, where are you? You know, reply to my text messages, whatever. This person wants to make you regret leaving. And one thing I'll say about this is be kind of mindful about falling for this, because it looks like this person may very quickly exit your life if you try to let them back in, right? If you go after them like, oh, how could you give everything to someone else that you should have been giving to me? Not only does that give them the reaction that they want, but it puts you in a situation where now they have the power. And in all honesty, their intention is to leave very quickly. I hate that. But this is somebody that's like really kind of crappy, right? Wow, 5 of Pentacles and 8 of Cups. So this person is freaking out because they feel like you don't care anymore. And I feel like rather than actually fixing the situation, they'd rather just try to damage you to the point that you don't have like kind of that strength or that willpower to set boundaries for them, but also to create space when they're not acting accordingly. This is someone, you're going to know exactly who this is because we've been dealing with this off and on for quite some time. This could be somebody who has a tendency to put you in situations that involve multiple people. This is also someone that comes back and like completely love bombs. And so you take them back, but then once they're in your space, they start paying attention to other people. And for some of you, you find out like that the relationship is never going to happen, the commitment's not going to come, or that they've actually started giving their attention to someone else and they're reconciling with someone. They do this a lot to you. And I don't know, let's see why. 9 of Cups. Okay, well, your advice is 9 of Cups. So this person is just very, very selfish. You know, you could be dealing with someone younger than you, or someone who is like only child, or for some of you, you're dealing with someone who just thinks they're so great that nobody would ever say no to them. There's an energy of this person consistently putting themselves first. So it's like, regardless of what they say or how they say they want to show up for you, they are like the star and you're just the assistant or the sidekick. And I think that's why your advice here is 9 of Cups, because this person has been living their best life at your expense for a long time, right? A very long time. So now it's time for you to start putting yourself first. If anything, celebrate that they're paying attention to someone else, because the way that I'm seeing this is that you have so many options. If you could just get out of this energy, you would be very surprised to find out that this person is not the only person that you're going to have a really deep connection with, right? Because I know that you felt that way at one time. When I'm looking at the universe, there's something that you don't know. All right, so if this person is reconciling with their ex, just know the universe is going to use that person to teach them a lesson. For those of you who this person is like doing the pay attention to other people so that you come back, if they take time to tell you like, oh yeah, okay, let's be a thing, please just be super cautious, because they're actually lying about why they're going to reconcile with you or what they're trying to accomplish. For some of you though, this is kind of weird. This person actually may not even be talking to anybody. They could just be like working on something else or working on themselves, but trying to make it seem like they have all these options or they're dealing with other people. And I just want to caution you, because I feel like some of you are going to get excited, like, oh, they're working on themselves. Not in the sense that you think, okay? They're still doing the weird gaslighting, mind games, emotional manipulation. They're just, I almost feel like this person, for some of you, they feel like their ex is a burden or dating new people is a burden. So they're wising up and they're learning how to make it seem like they're doing things when they're not. Because this is someone who's selfish. They don't like having to invest time or energy into something unless it like directly validates them or benefits them in some way. So for some of you, this is so lame, but this is the kind of person that would like make it seem like they're on a date or make it seem like they have something going on that they don't, because they don't want to spend the money to actually do it, or they don't want to be bothered with a relationship, but they just want you to feel like they're unavailable or they're doing something else. Either way, it's gross, right? I don't feel like it's so much working on themselves in the sense that they're leveling up. If anything, I think they're just trying to get better at like being deceptive. I'm so sorry, but that's just what I see. All right, so yeah, your person's trying to make it look like they've moved on just as much as you have, and it really is just to try to get you back, because whoever this is watching you, and they're hoping that you will be missing them, you know, that you're not getting any attention, or, you know, you're not getting any love from anyone else. And I think because you're moving different or you're not responding to them the way they're used to, they're feeling super triggered, right? So, you know, just keep moving forward. 9 of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, very good cards. But you have to be willing to explore the options, you know, go after what's missing rather than settle for what's available. And I feel like what's available is something that you've already seen so much of. I don't feel like you'd want it anyway, right? You got new beginning, a new adventure awaits. Embrace it and live your dreams passionately. So it's time for something else. Maybe get clear about what that would look like to you. You know, what would make you the happiest. because you've had a lot of what you don't want, right? You're very familiar with disappointment and what you don't want. So maybe if it's hard to think about what you do want, isolate all the things that haven't worked and how that's been disappointing, and then start making a list of the opposite of that thing, right? Wow, power. You instinctively know what is right for you, and you have the power to say no or walk away at any time. You also got wait. Don't rush into it. Allow nature to take its course. I feel like that has a lot to do with whoever this is, because I can see them trying to suck you back in to very quickly exit your life. And that really is just to like mess with your self-esteem. Okay. This person sees your worth. They see your value, but they don't want anyone else to, and so if they play like they don't see it, I want you to know they see it, and they're doing this on purpose, and that's just gross. All right, for your financial oracle, you got dreams of abundance. As you sleep, God, your angels, and your higher self are giving you divinely guided ideas, answers, and solutions. Be sure to record your dreams in a journal because they contain valuable insight that will help you manifest your desires into reality. So that's really interesting, because with your Wheel of Fortune, you actually got the 7 of Cups, which is a card that talks about dreams, right? 7 of Cups to 9 of Cups, this is making your dreams a reality. But you have to take the first step to kind of exit out of some of this crummy energy, or at the very least not settle for things that are not what you want, right? All right, let's get you a self-care card, Intent. I love it. Focus your energy. There's amazing power in a strong intention. So lots of cards talking about power this month. Focus, right? This person trying to make you desire them because you're not focused on them anymore. But I don't want you to get distracted by this clown's games. Just stay focused on what you want. You got protection. You, your loved ones, and your possessions are safe and protected by heaven. And you're being helped. Heaven is working behind the scenes to help you, even if you don't see the results yet. So it's not your job to show up for everybody, right? They will figure it out for themselves. It's time for you to start worrying about yourself and, give these people to God, whoever this is that it feels like is constantly expecting you to be everything. Let the universe provide for them, and use the universe's help to provide for yourself, because it looks like there's a lot of abundance coming in for you this month if you decide that's what you want. All right, Scorpio, these are your December messages. Thank you for allowing me to read for all of you, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye.